Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Battlefield Weekly, the only Battlefield show on the internet that probably isn't weekly, I'm not going to lie. How you doing, folks? I'm Freeman, Battlefield's community manager. We're off to a great start already. I hope you're doing well. Happy Thanksgiving if you've got up nice and early over in the States. Glad to have you here. We're going to be live for the next 45 minutes to an hour here on twitch.tv and mixer.com/Battlefield, talking about the update that we've got coming up to Battlefield, update 5.2. I'm not alone, though. I've got some guests with me, so do please welcome. We have Ryan MacArthur. Yes, we will be talking about that mustache later on. And David the Redeemer Serland as well. Gentlemen, welcome to Battlefield Weekly. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Really good.
Well, I'm all right, yeah. So I've had a haircut.
Yeah? Well, me too, I guess.
I went the opposite direction.
You did, but you wear it so well, and that's all that matters.
Maybe we should have some kind of... My wife, she can't wait till the end of the month when it goes, and I think we just continue this into Mocember.
Mocember, is that what we're doing for it? Good afternoon to everyone who's in the chat there. Good afternoon to you, Hobbsy. Hello to Just Big Lee. Hello to Zen. How are you? Anti-Tinkerbell, we see you over on Mixer as well. Thanks for joining us, folks. Yes, we're going to be live for about 45 minutes to an hour talking about the new update. So coming up, we're going to talk some more about TTK. We know it's a very popular topic amongst the community, so let's talk about that in a bit. We'll chat a bit more to David about Operation Sandbox. We kind of teased that in an update that we talked about later on. So we can talk a bit more generally about what it is when we mean Operation Sandbox and the type of work that we're going to be doing. And we'll also start giving you a bit of a look at 5.2, which is the next Battlefield update that we have coming. Later on, we'll have Florian, that's Junksy. He'll be here on the stream with us all, talking about the new guns that we've got coming into Battlefield in the new chapter, as well as the changes that we've made in that patch. So stick around, do join us if you're watching over on twitter.com/Battlefield. We can't see your chat, so come join us on Twitch, come join us on Mixer. We'd love to have you in here. But yes, gentlemen, we've started this bloody well. We've started with the trailer for the Pacific. I can't stop watching it.
It's really good. It's probably my favorite one that we've made for this game in particular, and maybe one of my favorite Battlefield ones. I love it. I mean, it's and then probably it's a bit, probably quite close to home, so you know, kind of care maybe a little bit extra about it, especially since the journey we've been on since almost, I guess it's a year now.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I love nice weather, and someone got to go to Hawaii to record things and take lots of pictures.
I know it was a bit of a cheeky day out that was for people. What do you think?
Well, I think Lars, my favorite is how Lars describes it. Lars describes it as sort of the worst vacation ever.
Here's a rock. Let's take 400 pictures. Yes, that's sort of what it is.
Yeah. But no, we've enjoyed seeing everyone's reaction to the Pacific. Thank you all for coming and jumping back into the game and having a wild time last month. We really appreciate it. How's it been for you guys? How's it been for you guys seeing people playing? Right now we have some gameplay on the screen for Iwo Jima. We're playing TDM. It will look a bit kind of choppy. I apologise for that. It's just because we're using an internal test build. We'll talk about why that is later on. But this is gameplay for the upcoming update. But let's talk about that later on. But yeah. How have you guys found it? Player reception? What's your best bits?
I'm super happy.
Yeah?
I mean, these maps are essentially taking a lot of learnings from the year we've had and created a tempo where the sandbox comes out and shines. And I think that's why people are coming back. And it's not only that it's new maps, it's actually that it plays amazingly and deeper and more. And we really enjoy that part.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the moment that the guys started working on the Pacific in particularly, I think when we looked at, Linus and the team and the guys really wanted to create something that felt and played differently, really had that old Battlefield feeling and sort of really wanted to make it special. And they were super dedicated and super determined to make that happen. And to see it actually come out and show up and the players then react in a positive way to it really sort of puts that work, it sort of makes that work so much more valuable for them, especially in the journey they've had, right? I mean, you've got the players have been, they've been asking for that old Battlefield feeling back and they've been quite vocal about it and they've stuck with us, which has been fantastic. And to sort of reward them with the Pacific the way it is really also gives the team that reward that hard work and effort was worth it.
I think there's a really strong component to the fantasy layer here, like that we really dove into and I think delivered on. I mean, playing these maps feels different, especially from the outset of the match. And then you still have that giant sandbox. It's a really nice combination of that, which I think we haven't really pulled off previously. The combo of it. It's been in a trailer and then there's gameplay, but I think these are sort of combined, which is amazing. And we're going to continue doing that.
Good. Well, I mean, like, it's been fantastic just for us, again, hearing what you guys have enjoyed playing about the Pacific. So thank you all for those nice messages you sent over the last month. We really appreciate it. Tilbo's in the chat there. He says, Pacific has been the best Battlefield feeling that he's had. Love you saying that. Dutch Dave's also spotted that, yes, we do have a lovely Star Wars Battlefront 2 kit hidden up in the corner of, of the set there. No, you can't have that for Christmas. That's ours. Right, let's talk about the gameplay then. We're going to come back to this just as soon as the round kind of resets. We are showing you an early version of a new build that we've sort of been testing. So if you do see anything weird happen with the build, don't mind that. It's just because literally today's the first day you're actually getting to use it. What have we changed for this build, David?
We looked at a lot of the feedback we got from our early post of what we're changing with 5.2 when it comes to weapon damage and ranges, and especially the time to kill part. And I'm using that word because you're using it.
Yeah.
And this build essentially removes a lot of any additional type of that. We still keep the range parts.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make a combination. And we played it this morning. I haven't played it a lot. I can say, we know for sure this is perfect and whatnot, but it feels a bunch better. And I hope you can see in the gameplay when you see him using weapons, especially the Thompson and things like that, what it really feels like. That's why we're playing TDM as well.
Yeah. As I say, do apologise for the choppiness. Don't worry too much about that. It's not doing anything untoward. It's just because, again, we're using a bit of an early build here that hasn't quite been through our testing. But yeah, we're going to show you gameplay just while we're chatting away here. And as I say, this is using what we refer to as the 5.2 build. The actual weapon changes and the damage changes that David was just talking about there, that's stuff that we're still testing. It might not actually come in 5.2. It's likely that 5.2 will launch in the way that we've been chatting to you guys about it. But you can see, again, an example of how it is we actually do listen to you guys and we do take your feedback. So by all means, study this footage while we have it on in the background and we carry on chatting and have a think about it. The lovely Oliver has been our test pig for today. So he's in the other room playing through the gunplay, so you can judge him on Twitter and call him out for these things. You may have spotted, just as we're in the tunnels there, that there is something new about these AP mines. They now have tripwires on them. We're going to have Florian on later on to talk about those. So yeah, TTK, it has been a big conversation because, again, we know how much our players treasure the gunplay that we have in Battlefield. And again, just to recap the sort of conversation we've had with players over the last few weeks, we genuinely haven't set out to change the TTK, have we, Ryan?
No, I think what we looked at is the same thing we build on, and David says with the Pacific itself is that the thing that players have been asking for from the beginning is that just that sandbox feeling is missing from the game. And the guys went. I mean, they've been really working hard to try and find where those things are. And with David coming back from his parental leave, has really sort of helped the team, kind of helped them work to find those things. And I think the goal has always been for us to make the game more fun and find those things that are really going to give the players that sort of enjoyable long-term experience that they expect from us.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the Pacific as sort of the level and setting and fantasy version of getting more back to the sandbox. 5.2, the patch, is the first step towards us doing that with the rest of the game as well. That means that we're going to change things, and I mean that doesn't mean that we will get everything right, but our general vision is to make sure that more sandbox play, more fun, and more of those moments that you treasure and like to happen, can happen, and happen sort of naturally. That's the goal.
I mean, I think we feel, and the team feels, we're really getting to that sort of groove and that rhythm that you expect from a live service, where we can find those things that we see from both the players' feedback, from the data we see, and sort of start to use those things to make the game better, because now the game is in a really good spot. And I think the team is sort of really embracing that, where they spend a lot of time seeing what the players are saying. They spend a lot of time combing through the data they have and just using that expertise that they have making Battlefield games, trying to combine those three things together. And it's the first time I think we've really been able to do that in an effective way over the last few months in terms of the Pacific and what's coming after.
Yeah, so right now Oliver's running around obviously using the Thompson. I know that was one of the guns that we talked about a lot as an example last week. Not necessarily just because we'd made some big kind of changes to it, but because we know it's a gun you guys all use quite a lot. So we want to make sure that you can see it. So again, you're seeing a version of that gun that's using this other thing that we're testing. And again, we're going to make more tweaks to it, I'm sure, over the next few weeks. But it's going to be very important that when update 5.2 launches, again, you jump into the game. You talk to us, you tell us what it is you find with the experience, send us clips like you can see here of the way in which you use guns that we can again help feed that data. But we've been testing this for quite a while in the studio, and it does change the way that you sort of do play Battlefield slightly, doesn't it? But it's it's still Battlefield, right?
It is, and I mean, it really, you have to sort of look at your arsenal and see, where's my new favorite gun? In my case, that changes a lot, but to some players it won't.
What have you mostly been using up to this point in Battlefield?
MP40.
Yeah.
Essentially, I run straight in and I die a lot, and I kill more at the very least. So it's like high KD in both. But yeah, essentially that and STK-44. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, those your go-tos.
And then, I mean, I really like the carbine now, the jungle carbine.
Yeah.
And one of the coming ones is a new favorite, given that I like the MP40.
Yeah. They're very good. You'll also see in the gameplay footage that we are kind of showing as we kind of cut in and out of it. Again, the other thing that we've talked about adding in this next update, again, you've been using the term 3D spotting. We just kind of refer to it as player identification because, just to restate, it doesn't actually share any of the same behaviours when it comes to actually spotting. But this isn't uncommon to Battlefield. We've had these systems in past Battlefield games, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, in BF4 we called it passive spotting. It was sort of also combined with the minimap at that point. But really what it is all about is in those areas when you run into a room or a small space, and you would expect to know in reality, if you ran into a room of that size, even if it's dark, you know if there's a person in the corner. This helps you. Yeah, that was right. It puts away some of the strain of just being able to be offensive, essentially. And that's more fun, because to someone that doesn't want to die, not me then, because I die a lot, someone that doesn't want to die, it's a strain to enter a room. You have to really check all corners, which is, to some people, fun, but I think on average is probably less fun than it could be. Yeah. This does not take into account like far ranges or anything like that. And you see it here. This is active in this build that you see on screen, so you will notice it maybe sometimes, but probably not all the time.
Yeah, we have, again, taken some of your feedback about how it behaves. Like originally we shared the initial values. I want to say it was something like it operated at 10 metres up close for the passive version of it, and then I want to say it's about 28 metres or something if you're pointing
It was something like that. Now it's less, right, in both.
Yeah, we've changed it based on your feedback. So thank you for having that conversation with us. Keep having that conversation with us again when you've got the game in your hands. Keep sharing that feedback because we like hearing it.
Oh, you actually saw it straight there on the screen. Yeah. When he ran into his crosshair.
If you haven't actually caught up on what the feature actually is, the way it works is that if you are looking down the barrel of your gun at a soldier within a certain distance, it will cause a little red kind of diamond to appear immediately above the player's head. But only, again, if you're looking at that player in question. If they're just within your field of view in general, they won't be there. As you close the gap towards a player and you're within a much closer range to them, those symbols will automatically kind of appear, again, above those players' heads. Again, we're still expecting that in most scenarios where if you ran into a room and someone happens to be kind of crouched in the corner or something, they've probably still got the drop on you, and they're probably still going to kill you, aren't
likely,
they?
Yeah. It's more that if you're like entering a room with that in your mind, I'm going to check all the corners. Yeah. Now that's easier and more easy to pull off at a consistent level for an average player. Yeah. I would say, for me, and anyone else like me or worse.
Azura, you're in the chat. Azura, thank you very much for... Azura shared a brilliant post over on Reddit today, and he's got a great YouTube video on his channel about the upcoming tank changes, because we have got those. We won't be chatting about them today because you should go and watch that instead. It goes into a lot more detail on if you're a vehicle player. But we have roughly changed the way in which tank damages kind of behave in this update too, which we won't see here because we're playing on Team Deathmatch, but you'll read a lot more of that later on. So yeah, let's talk about other things then. Operation Sandbox.
Yeah.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago in the update post that we shared to players, saying that, again, these first things that we've looked at so far in terms of player identification, in terms of TTK, we've kind of got this umbrella project internally that we talk about as Operation Sandbox. What is it?
Essentially, it's just a sort of silly but not silly name for this project or effort, I would say.
Right.
That takes the things that we always want from a Battlefield game, that we learn a lot from the specific tempo of the maps. We want to apply that to the rest of the game, to the core gameplay, to general tempo, to the flows of your death, to revive. You know, there's a bunch of places where we want to tweak, prod, and make all the sort of parts that have different lengths vibe better together, especially with that tempo that is now slower paced on the Pacific maps and has some pauses in there. There's a reason the Pacific maps actually see use of transport vehicles. It's because you spawn further away and there's actually spawned transport vehicles. Those kind of small things change a lot of parts, but we're looking at it wholesale. And in 5.2, there's a bunch of changes that we would tag as Operation Sandbox. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we still do changes like that, but we're trying to look at it holistically so we don't just change one thing and then we miss another. We need to look at the whole picture of playing around, essentially. rather than just here's a life or
Yeah.
here's a kill or so on.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to update our Trello. If you haven't already found that, I'll share the link with it later on. I'm sure the mods can drop it in the chat for us, if not anyway. But we will start flagging those things up on Trello as well, so you can see that what we're classifying as Operation Sandbox going forward. But again, as the updates kind of tick through, we'll kind of get to being able to talk to that stuff.
And I miss one thing, and that is Operation Sandbox goal is essentially to make it possible to play more of a sandbox game, like in general. And if you played older titles, you probably recognize a lot of that feeling, which is great if we hit that.
Because we've seen a lot of that come back with Pacific, haven't we, Ryan? The sandbox feeling.
Yeah, and I think it was a dedicated effort from both when the guys looked at the Pacific from day one, and then I think, just as David said, putting that together as a package in terms of shifting away out of the mindset of fixing an individual thing for an individual purpose, but looking at the game holistically and kind of getting back to that element that ties a Battlefield game together. And I think it was that, when we all sort of sat down and looked, you could sort of see it when you look at it from far away, as that sandbox sort of being missing from 5 from the beginning. And I think the guys have put a lot of effort into really trying to find that fun again.
Yeah. And listen, they've found it. I've had a bloody lovely time playing it last month. It's been wonderful. I know you guys have too. Yes, Champers is over there in the Mixer chat. He's talking about community games. We haven't shared all the information about that just yet. We are probably going to need to do it tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving in the US, and so we just need to wait for some emails to kind of come back to us, but we should be able to share that with you guys tomorrow. But community games is absolutely coming in this next update. Again, this is something that we've been talking about a lot this year. It's something that we do feel is very important to our players, so we're looking forward to sharing more detail about that. Hopefully tomorrow. There's a small chance I get to share it with you later on today, but we will, I promise, talk to you about community games in a lot more detail, tell you about all the features that we actually do have coming for this really cool feature. But again, to reconfirm, you are going to see this when the Battlefield update drops. Where are we right now in terms of how far away we are from that Battlefield update dropping to players? Because we don't ever share dates until we get into a situation where we know it's kind of cleared our internal testing and we know it's been approved. Like that is normal for us though. So that is going to be how we behave until we get an actual date for players, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we've learned, and it sounds silly that you have to learn this, but I mean, I think the team is we want to get things in players' hands as quickly as we can, because we know how much they enjoy it when they get it. But then we sort of, as you know, throughout the summer specifically, is learning that they want it good as opposed to fast, and that's something that we've really taken to heart. And so one of the reasons where we can sometimes be a little bit reticent to share exact dates is because we want to make sure it's perfect and it's right. So I think we're pretty close.
I don't want to use that word either.
What, soon?
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
Put another $1 in the jar. It's fine.
But we're getting there, and I think we then we can probably communicate that date in the next little while. I think, but. Was a while okay?
It's okay, I think.
It's fine.
It's not overused.
We will have information on it soon, I promise. We'll share it very, very loudly across all the usual places the instant we've confirmed that the update is actually coming. Twitch chat is just pointing out to me here that Oliver's gone on a bit of a teabagging spree. Is that what's happening in there?
No, it was someone
Florian is nodding his head in the distance. Or was it that he himself was
It was
actually...
his guy that killed him, I think. Yeah. Someone in the team.
So, Ryan, most important question before we let you go, because we know you're going to have to disappear soon. This moustache.
Yes.
Where's it come from?
So, I want to say, let's see, I've been married now. I've known my wife now for 15 years. So for the last 12 years, I think, somewhere around there. And I know they have it worldwide, is the Movember charity for prostate cancer. So I do this every year because I think it's important. And I get the extra benefit of it is my wife's birthday in the middle of the month.
Right.
So I think every single birthday since we've known each other, my wife has a picture of me with a very more creepy version than the mustache.
There's a more creepy version of this?
Yeah, and every year I grow a different one. I choose, and I sort of rotate through 5 or 6 different ones, and it's just a thing I like to do every November, because why not?
Beautiful. Yeah. We love it.
Yeah,
Right, we'll say our goodbyes to Ryan for now. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
We'll have you back whenever there's a new Battlefield Week.
If you can ever find me, just let me know.
Sure, yeah. We have a joke about Ryan here in the office whereby it's actually quite rare for you to spot him at his desk. That's not a thing that Ryan does because he's very busy working between meetings. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
If you are just joining us, we are live on twitch.tv/battlefield and mixer.com/battlefield. If you're watching over on Twitter, make sure that you do join us in the chats here on Twitch and Mixer. We'd love to have you in here. I'm Freeman, Battlefield's community manager. We're talking about update 5.2. It's going to be coming in the future. That's how you get around saying soon. There you go. But it is going to be coming in December. You are going to see it very soon. We'll have final information when we do. But yes, we have David Serland here, and joining us now we have Florian. Good afternoon, Florian.
Hello.
Have you been banned from Call of Duty yet?
No, sadly. It would have been very surprising if that was the case.
Bless him. A joke from last year, by the way. Florian is just too good at video games, and he gets in trouble with anti-cheat systems. That's just kind of what happens. But yeah, Florian, welcome. Let's talk about 5.2, because we've talked about parts of the update. We've talked about the big things that we know people want to talk about, and we've talked about them early so that people can have that conversation with us. But it's a much bigger update than that, isn't it? There's obviously a load of new fixes, new changes. We were hoping to show you some of the new weapons on the gameplay today, but we basically just forgot to unlock them on the account. Sorry about that. But there are some new guns coming in the next chapter. They're going to unlock as Tides of War weekly rewards. So you'll start to see these appear in the files after Temporal's found them. Don't worry about that. The M3 is coming. The grease gun is coming. We've got the Type 97 MG, the Nambu Type 2A, and the bar is finally coming to Battlefield. Which is your favourite? What have you used? What do you like?
I've been running a lot with the M3.
Yeah.
I think this is a very special SMG compared to what we've had so far.
It's quite lethal, isn't it?
It is.
Like, I know we're changing around some of the damage values, but there's been a version we've played in the recent months where it has like a free bullet to kill near enough,
Yes,
I think.
it has the
Like running
close
around
range.
with an AA gun. It feels like that sound is amazing.
Yeah, it's a 3-bullet kill up to roughly 10 meters, something like this. So it's really melty on close range.
Yeah.
But it's not very fast, is it?
No, it's really slow. Slow rate of fire. So it's very unique compared to what we had. The other extreme of the spectrum of the SMGs we have are the super fast-firing ones, and we actually have also another fast-firing SMG that is coming in with the Type 2A.
Yes, that's very fast-firing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1,000 plus.
That's my new favorite.
That's your new favourite.
It's perfect for my playstyle.
But it's
running.
also very low damage. So we actually, with 5.2, we get the two extremes really stretched out in both directions this time around.
Yeah. So we've got, again, the other new guns, the Type 97 MG and the BAR, the bar.
Yeah.
These are iconic guns, really. These are the things that we absolutely need in Battlefield, isn't it?
I think the bar for sure. I think everyone
Yeah.
expects it to happen. And this time around, we actually have two fire modes. We have fast-firing fire mode and a slower-firing fire mode.
Yeah.
Obviously, the slower one is more accurate, so you would want that for like longer range engagements, and then the fast-firing is for more closer ranges. So it's a very interesting weapon in that regard.
Yeah, marvellous. The kill sounds. Again, you probably heard this in some of the gameplay that we've actually been kind of showing on the stream here. We changed them.
Yeah.
They're nice now, aren't they?
Nice. I think people that play BF1 and really like those,
They really do like those.
will remember that, and will be very happy to
Yeah.
see a version of it coming back to Battlefield 5.
Also a tempo thing, like audio cues, really helps. Getting that groove.
Hope you've been able to hear some of that on the actual live stream for the footage that we have been able to show. Other things then, let's talk about them. We did kind of talk in some more detail about the changes that we've made to Fliegerfaust, but we have tweaked the Fliegerfaust.
Yep.
It's still pretty dangerous. We haven't just batted this to all hell, have we?
It remains as lethal as it
Yeah.
is live right now, but it will take a little more skill to use, let's say. So it's more about you actually need to hit the plane now, or
Yeah.
be very, very close to actually deal the maximum damage output of the Fliegerfaust. And you also have 2 salvos of rockets instead of what we had in the past, which was like 3.
Yeah.
And what we wanted was actually 2, and we made it actually work with 2 salvos. So yeah, you will need to be more accurate, and we compensate that a little bit by making the salvos a little tighter. So they're less spread out now. So it means that if you can aim and track properly a plane flying by, then you will still have no problem getting those pesky planes down.
Yeah.
Someone dive bombing you, it's
Yeah.
still as easy to.
Yeah, if they're coming head first to you, it's the same kind of experience. Flamethrower, we fixed it. There was something weird about it in the caves, weren't there?
Yeah.
You saw that actually.
It just didn't work in the case.
It didn't work in the caves, yeah. So
It
we
didn't
did nice.
trigger right damage on the splash or something.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah, that-
only the fire damage from like the small fire on the ground that did damage. But the main damage source, which is like the flame stream, did nothing in the caves at all.
Yeah.
So that is fixed.
We fixed that. Sorry about that, everyone. We did get that fixed. The new AP mines, then. We have been showing them on the gameplay. What have we actually changed? Recap it for us, Florian.
So the S mines now, when you deploy them, or the AP mines, I don't know what we call them.
I'm just using the same thing everyone else says.
Yeah.
Technical
So-
term S mines is more correct. Yeah.
When you deploy them, they will shoot some wires perpendicularly to where you actually place the mine. So that means that if you want to place it in a doorway, then it will snap to both sides of the door. And that makes it a little better to cover an area and to use the S-mine as an area of denial thing. Whereas before you would actually need to be very close to the S-mine to detonate it. Now you actually can detonate it from further away, but it's also using only the wires now. So you need to think before placing those S-mines. And they're also easier to spot. To balance that out, the damage is going to be going up a little bit. It's not going to be extreme, but if you're not careful at all and if you run
It's
into
still
S-mines,
nearly a one-hit kill, though, isn't it, in certain circumstances?
it is a one-hit kill, very close to the center,
Yeah.
but it's also unlikely that now you also get that damage. So in terms of balance, it will probably work out. We'll see how that goes. But it's also much easier to spot them. That's the main thing. If you want to place them on supply stations, you can still do, but it's very, very easy to see them around the corners. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely little change. Some other things that we've changed. Again, this is another bit of a weird bug fix that I know has been bothering people. Thank you to everyone who's been sending clips in that actually shows this problem over the last few weeks. When it is in certain circumstances that an animation is playing, if the person's on odd terrain, previously people have been shooting at them, but it's not actually been hitting them, and we've fixed that now, isn't it? So if someone's died on a funny rock and someone goes to revive them, that's fixed now.
Yes, that would happen mostly with revive, but that could also happen with melee takedown.
Yeah.
So the case scenario is your friendly dies on a box that is really high, and your medic is nearby and presses the interaction, and it will jump on the box, but the hitbox would just lag behind, and that is fixed now, so it will always sync, and you will never get those issues anymore, which is great.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Floris is in the chat there saying, idea for the next Battlefield streams, maybe we can get pictures, for the example, of the AP ones on how they look and work instead of the gameplay. We can actually probably share, we've got a clip in the bank that Florian sent me the other week that I'll see about tweeting later on this evening so that you guys can get another look at it. We actually did it just out of the context of gameplay, just running around and showing how the actual ropes will shoot out at a perpendicular angle to them, and how it is they behave, that, yeah, as Florian said, if you attach them to a door. We actually have that clip, so we'll see about sharing that later on.
It's pretty cool because the doors actually work like this. If you want to place it in the doorway and someone opens the door, it will also like cut the wire, so it will blow up the mine. So you can use that as well to just block doors as well.
Other fixes and changes we've made. Again, thanks to you guys helping share examples of why this is a problem, and it was never intention anyway. We have changed the out of bounds areas on Pacific Storms. If you did have players who had snuck their way onto one of the US troop carriers that wasn't really supposed to be there, they were actually able to shoot across. That's now fixed. We fixed that boundary. Don't you worry about that. Changes that we've made are kind of in general to what I suppose we still refer to as attrition. We changed the cooldown timers on the ammo resupply stations and the medic supply stations. They're now at 45 seconds. Why did we come to tweaking those?
So the idea around those changes is trying to get the players to rely a little less on those stations. They actually do right now a lot of the resupplying from players, actually more than gadgets in general. Players tend to rely a lot more on those than actual other players.
Yeah.
We still want that to be a thing. Like it's a good choice to go for supply stations, but you don't want players to just stick around the same station all the time and wait to get more, say, flares, or for instance, and just spam an area and control it constantly. The 20 seconds cooldown that we had before was really, really low, and if we are to compare how we pushed attrition live and the promises of making it, of having to care more about your ammo, the stations really invalidate a lot of that.
Yeah.
And balancing them out a little bit more will probably make first the other gadgets more relevant in general, but also make you think about whether you actually really need to resupply right now, or do you want to move to somewhere else, or do you want to, so that will change a lot of things. And again, spotting, that is also changing a little bit with balance changes coming around. There's some reasoning behind that as well. And flares is the main thing for spotting. In general, players really love the flares. They cover a lot of area. We're changing that a little bit. But how often you could get those back was also a big problem. We had a hard time balancing them out against the ammo station that just gave you 2 every 20 seconds.
It was very spammy last week on Grind, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the flares currently in 5.0, they last 30 seconds and they cover an area or a radius of 50 meters, which would be a 30 meters diameter. So you could effectively cover at least 2 areas within the span of 20 seconds. So you get ammo back, spam more flares, and you always get 2 areas constantly spotting.
When it comes to primary and secondary ammunition, for this patch, we've also increased the spawning rates, right?
Yes, you spawn with more in general. So
in general, I don't even think about it anymore. Yeah. It's for gadgets, essentially, I care the most.
Yeah, although we're changing how often you get ammo from stations, you spawn with more, so it's not like you feel like you have to rely on the stations. Probably still for gadgets, because that's one of the best sources to resupply your gadgets, but not for basic, like primary and secondary ammo.
A special thank you as well, by the way, to Faris 2011 KSU. He sent us a brilliant video a few weeks back where he was singing a lovely song in the process, where he spotted that there wasn't actually any ammo stations on an aerodrome. It's fixed. Sorry about that, and thank you, Faris, for sending us that clip. It's a bit of a weird one, but we do appreciate these types of things. You get a lovely special shout out.
Now you're going to get so many songs because he got through to you.
If everyone wants to start sending their bug reports and the weird things they find in Battlefield in song form, please do that. Tweet me at @BartWelsh at Battlefield. I want those clips in song form. I will take all forms of bug reports. I absolutely love that stuff. Mentioning very briefly Aerodrome, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to play it, but we have made some changes to Aerodrome. Not massive sweeping changes, but thanks very much to JFG before he moved on to Brighter Shores. He's made some small tweaks to the way in which this map plays. There's going to be a lot more cover now. We've changed the position of things. So I know it's not necessarily everyone's favourite map, but when you get a chance to with the 5.2 update, do jump in and check out Aerodrome, because we have made some changes on it. A lot of that based on your feedback. So always send us these things, because we bloody love to hear about them. Outpost is coming back in the next update as well. I had a chat with JD about the changes that we're actually making. Most important change is that it's going to be available on Pacific Storm, and it's going to be available on Iwo Jima as well as the original maps. But we have made some changes, all of which we're going to have detailed in our update notes, which we'll share probably about 24 hours before the actual update goes live. Some changes, just kind of headline features, and we'll talk about them all in a lot more detail in those update notes. If you are playing on the original EU maps that we actually have for Outpost, the bombers are gone now. We've just got it so that it's fighter planes, because again, based on your feedback, the bombers were causing a few headaches for thugs. It was fun, but we know that they're just going to be Fliegerfausted anyway at this stage. So that's one of the small changes we've made so far. We'll see how it goes with this next rendition that we actually have of Outpost coming up. We have fixed the bugs that was caused whenever the round ended, basically, without any team winning it. Sometimes came up as a draw. It wasn't really a draw. It won't actually do that now. A team is actually going to get a win. And we also tweaked the way in which the outpost towers work. So after you've actually built them, if you want to upgrade them to the next stage, there will be a sort of cooldown before you can start to do that stuff. So look out for those changes when we have them. I bloody love Outpost.
That's a really good tempo thing. Because to me, Outpost, especially on the Pacific maps, those are the ones I played the most. It plays completely differently. I can go and be, I'm gonna build D, and I'm just standing on this flag or this tower, I guess. This objective is what I should be using. But now you have to actually stick around. You can't just spam that up.
Yeah.
So now you actually have to think about, do I go for the other team's level 3, or do I build a level 3? And yeah. It's an interesting.
It is interesting.
mode.
But I do like Outpost. It's very nice. We've also got some fixes that, again, are specific to the different consoles and platforms that we actually have for Battlefield. If you're an AMD user, we're currently testing this fix, so fingers crossed, it should be all good. If you've been bumping into that issue where the screen was kind of a bit too dark because you're using an AMD graphics card, that hopefully will get fixed in time for this. We've also been able to correct a mistake that we sort of made with our last update that was affecting console users who were using the alternate control scheme. You'd found that the brand new feature that we'd kind of done to help PC users have a one bindable button for sliding, that's now fixed, so it should work more properly for players on alternate. So apologies that you've been stuck without the ability to slide properly for the last month without switching back to standard or endlessly tweeting Florian. Because we did have a little cheeky workaround for it, didn't we?
Yes. We support custom mapping, so you can make your own layout essentially, so you can get around that, but that's obviously not great.
Not great.
I guess any player that would jump in the first time in Battlefield would not find that. That's more for like the advanced players. So yeah, it's a good thing that now it's going to be fixed.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have all these update notes available to you before the actual update goes live. And of course, there's one other big topic for this update: Wake.
Yeah, my favorite.
Your favourite?
Yeah, I mean, it's back.
Yeah.
In a really, really, really great form.
We've been playing this for a good few months now internally, and it's been so much fun. And I know we obviously we're in a very lucky position to do that. We've done that with all the Pacific content, but Wake especially.
Yeah, this is really going back to our roots. And I think all those sort of, we talked a lot about tempo, but all of those sort of tempo changes sort of have to happen for this map to play the way you remember it. If you were around back then in any of the incarnations, they played slightly differently. But if anything is true throughout, it's that it is an old school Battlefield map. I think we're hitting that with this one. With all the new bells and whistles, of course, in there as well.
Favourite part of it, Florian? Which is the best version, or the best flag that you've encountered on? You spend your time
Conquest, I would say either that's the hangar part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in the middle of the island.
Yeah, or the two tanks, fuel tanks.
Yes.
This one is super interesting.
Refinery area.
Yes.
It's kind of on the south end of the horseshoe. I don't know if you're Team Horseshoe or Team Banana, by the way. I'm Team Banana, but Lars says Horseshoe. So I have to go with what Lars says.
Is it a banana?
It's a banana.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an EU standard approved banana, but it's a banana. That's all that matters. But yeah, Wake Island, it's coming with 5.2. Don't be surprised if when we actually launch the update, it's not necessarily available as a live server. We will just do, again, our usual kind of tests on it in the background to make sure it works. We'll let you know when the map's actually going live. But don't be shocked when 5.2 launches that Wake isn't there. Don't worry, don't panic. This isn't Al Sundan all over again, I promise. But it's bloody good fun. It's going to be on Breakthrough. It's going to be on Conquest. We've done some other tests of other game modes that obviously we want to try out for the future, that we've had a lot of fun playing. Sneak little peek. We've added a new music track for Wake, or as part of this Pacific, and oh my goodness, it's good.
It is really nice.
Yeah. Once that comes out, by the way, we're hopefully going to be able to update kind of the playlists that we have across the internet, because it kind of doesn't really complete the Pacific soundtrack, but it definitely gives us enough tracks that we're going to help refresh things. So we'll help share that with you as soon as we have it, because it is bloody marvellous. If you haven't already, do take yourself over to the Battlefield website. If you go to battlefield.com and click on the news tab, there is a brilliant interview with Lars Gustafsson, who is Mr. Battlefield. Will you ever get to take that title from him, do you reckon?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't want to. It is.
No one takes this from Lars. No one takes this from Lars. But there is a cracking article on the website that tells you the story of Wake Island over the years. We're going to have loads more stories to tell about this as well. Hopefully we'll start to even show you behind the scenes looks at the map, because it's changed a lot since our first version, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. For better, I think. I mean, it depends on the game it was built for, right? And for this game, it's more flat again. I know the last one, or a couple of the last ones, had sort of high beach sides and so on, which is not really what it looks like in real life. Not that this map is really real life in any shape or form. This was the demo map for 1942, and since then it's sort of ours, I guess. But I think this in combination with some really nice like undulations in the terrain makes this work for both vehicles and play. And you can do all the flanking you're used to. And there's a bunch of neat little areas that have more character now, because we can have so much more stuff on the map.
Rev DMQ was asking, it's Conquest Assault. That's correct, right?
It is, yes. It sort of has to be on this map. It's a staple. I know it's a divider of a sub-game mode,
Can be,
but I think when it's pulled off right, it is one of the better Conquests.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Stargate Karkand, you know.
Couldn't have it as not Conquest
to love?
Assault,
No, it's
really.
sort of the whole point of it. And I think this map deserves it. And Breakthrough, on the other hand, is completely different. It plays completely different. And it's much, much more frantic.
Yeah.
And I'd say Conquest Assault is probably one of our slowest maps on Wake, which is good because it's so sandboxy. And we hope you love it.
But yeah, let us know how you get on with it. And I think the last time we actually had Conquest Assault in Battlefield 5 was when we had it on Armada, which we heard your feedback and we changed it. But again, we've been doing this a lot on Conquest Assault on Wake, and we think it plays really well, just because, again, it's a very different shaped map. Americans are going to spawn on troop carriers out in the sea, but you're not just rushing at one thing, are you? You've got the actual whole island to kind of attack at and stuff.
Yeah, the whole horseshoe.
The whole horseshoe
is available.
Banana.
Yeah. No. So I mean, from that point of view as well, when we did the original here, the Japanese were attacking, and now it's the other way around. So this is sort of the after that, I guess, if you want a narrative.
G.I. Joe's asking, can we see some Wake Island gameplay? Not going to show you any today, but we will have things to show you in the future. So bear with us on that one. But we're not going to show it today because, again, we're still just finishing up our final testings on it. We want to make sure it's perfect before we actually bring it to you. But yes, we intend to show it to you. Maybe there's a trailer coming. Maybe I'm in it with my flamethrower. Just saying. Looking forward to my award. I'm never going to get that, but it's fine.
Speaking of that, I mean, the star of that trailer.
The star of that trailer. Oh, yes. So we some of the team popped up to us earlier on. This is something that we've kind of made as a gift to the staff here. Let's Florian, you're going to have to take the other end of this, and we'll hold this up.
It's for the people with the lowest sensitivity setting.
There you go.
We need 2 desks to play on this.
This is a mouse mat. If I ever find one spare, we'll find a way to do a competition for it. But there you go. You have a lovely crab.
I think there's more than one, but yeah.
It's marvellous. That's a huge mouse mat as well. Who's got a desk that big for one of them? But no, we love it. We love it. We love the memes. Right, we'll start to wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you very much to Oliver, who's been playing away there. And who knows what, because our television turned off 10 minutes ago. He could have been teabagging like mad, and we haven't actually seen it. Yeah, to kind of recap what we've chatted about today on the stream, we've been chatting about TTK, we've been chatting about the update, we've been chatting about Operation Sandbox, we've talked about Wake just there. If you have tuned in late, don't worry, this is archived here on twitch.tv/battlefield and mixer.com/battlefield. We'll even be rebroadcasting it later this evening, as we know that we're streaming this obviously in the middle of our day here in Sweden. It's quite dark outside. I know that's quite deceptive. It's only actually about 3 o'clock here. That's just normal for where we live now. So yes, if you're catching the rebroadcast, thank you very much for sitting and watching this through. We do appreciate it. Feel free to ping me any questions you have over on Twitter at @PartWelsh. I will absolutely do my best to help get you some answers. But we do appreciate you having up there. Major FL in the Twitch chat there said, you took David's dog tag last week. Have you been giving your dog tags away in the game?
Yeah, he did. I think we played like Squad Conquest and Iwo Jima or something. He got mine and Danny's dog tag in the same life, I believe. Yeah, it's impressive. Sadly, you don't get it. I mean, I missed that feature.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to bring it back.
Maybe. Florian, thank you very much for joining us. We do appreciate it. Appreciate your wisdom and knowledge and expertise. Again, thanks to Oliver. He's been fantastic. Make sure you wish him a happy birthday on Twitter. It's not his birthday. I just want to see how we can blow up his notifications. We do appreciate that. Battlefield Weekly will return. Possibly weekly. Don't know. But we'll see about that. We really do appreciate having you guys in here, though. We'll share some more information about community games, hopefully tomorrow. Sorry that we keep kind of delaying and teasing on this, but we want to make sure all the information comes to you correctly. So hopefully we'll have that very, very soon. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's watching from the States. Hope you had a lovely day spent with your family. And if it's not lovely, Battlefield's here. Come play with us. We'll hang out with you. Don't you worry. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Ok, attends, il y a 2 fils, un mec. C'est calme. C'était... J'ai vu le truc, quoi. Fuck. Il y a personne... Il y a personne qui en parle, hein. Bon. C'était pas foufou. C'était pas dingo. on n'a pas appris grand-chose. On a parlé, enfin, il y a eu les minapés, il y a eu le fait, enfin, on a vu un peu à quoi ressemblait le spotting en live, et ils ont annoncé Wake Island, mais ouais, je sais pas, j'aurais voulu qu'il passe un peu plus de temps. Bah, ça me permettra de faire une petite vidéo sur ce qui a été dit aujourd'hui, le condenser dans un truc qui devrait durer genre, je sais pas moi, 3-4 minutes maximum. Et de vous sortir ça, j'espère, demain. Mais normalement, ce soir, il y a aussi l'annonce du RSP, qui était annoncé pour aujourd'hui, je pense. Qui est peut-être déjà sorti, d'ailleurs, j'ai peut-être raté. Et, et c'est tout, je pense. Je crois qu'il n'y a rien d'autre cette semaine. Et j'espère que le patch arrivera d'ici ouais, 1 ou 2 semaines, quoi. Attends, en première ou deuxième semaine de décembre, ouais, ça c'est 1 ou 2 semaines. Ouais, c'est fini. En fait, en gros, à 13h, j'étais déjà sur le stream, parce que je suis en train de travailler, j'avais déjà ouvert la fenêtre. Et à un moment, le stream a démarré alors qu'il n'était pas censé démarrer, et on a vu une vidéo pendant genre 5 secondes qui s'appelait Opération Hambourg. Et on voyait des avions voler, et puis après, il y a un mec qui a fait « Ah, le stream est lancé !» Et ils ont vite coupé le truc. mais je suis certain, mais maintenant j'hésite, mais je suis certain d'avoir vu Opération Hambourg. Et ça voudrait dire qu'il y a une nouvelle map ou un nouveau truc, quoi. Mais, voilà, concrètement, j'en sais rien, parce que le truc que j'ai vu, est-ce que c'était le trailer de... Peut-être où on voyait les avions, le trailer du Pacifique, et que j'ai mal lu Hambourg, mais je sais pas comment j'aurais pu confondre à ce point-là, quoi. Et ouais, voilà, et t'as Pan qui dit... qui confirme. Donc, à mon avis, c'est bien ça. À mon avis, il y avait bien un truc Hambourg. Est-ce que c'est une nouvelle map? Est-ce que c'est une nouvelle opération? Je sais pas. Est-ce que c'est juste un truc que le mec regardait, mais qui est prévu pendant 6 mois et qui est juste pas du tout prévu pour le mois de décembre? Je sais pas. Ok, si Pan a vu Hambourg et que moi j'ai vu Hambourg, a priori, on s'est pas trompé. Maintenant voilà, moi je comptais pas faire un live aujourd'hui, donc je vais peut-être encore parler 5 minutes, mais après je vais couper le live, je voulais juste faire la watch party. On peut parler un petit peu, mais il y aura pas de gameplay, donc ceux qui sont pas intéressés à l'idée de rester, ne vous sentez pas forcé de rester, je compte pas jouer là maintenant tout de suite. Ça c'est certain, ça vous savez. Mais ça avait l'air, non je pense pas que quelqu'un les clips... Est-ce que je peux aller ici? Battlefield 5. Est-ce qu'on peut voir clip? Il y a à mon avis, ils l'auront supprimé. Hein. 30 minutes. Ouais, non. Est-ce que je peux classer par... dernière 24 heures? Et en gros, ce serait 3 hours ago. Ça, c'est le début. Ça s'est vraiment passé il y a 2-3 heures. Non, ça, personne la clip. Donc, mais à mon avis, ils l'auront d'office supprimé, quoi. Combien ils avaient de viewers? J'ai pas fait gaffe, tiens. Quelqu'un sait? Ouais, ils en avaient quand même pas mal. S'il en reste 700 maintenant, c'est que c'est pas pour rigoler, quoi. On devait être plusieurs milliers, à mon avis. Donc, ouais. C'est pas foufou, mais au moins t'as rien foutu pendant 15 minutes, ouais. Mon sentiment par rapport aux infos données sur le TTK, bah ici, ils ont rien donné de nouveau sur le TTK. Dites-moi si je me trompe. Oui, Martin, je pourrais, mais comme je vais couper dans 5 minutes, je me casse pas la tête. Enfin, je crois que je pourrais même faire ça, quoi. Hop, là on voit ma tête, quoi. Peut-être faire un truc... hop. Je sais pas si la cam est bien alignée. Ouah, je vais pas me faire chier, voilà. On fait ça, boum, on s'emmerde pas. Donc ouais, c'était pas foufou, TTK, je pense qu'il y avait rien de nouveau. Et ouais, on a appris des trucs sur les minapés, mais sinon on a rien appris d'autre. On a vraiment rien appris d'autre. Mode aérien prévu. Attends, what? Tu crois que ce serait ça? Moi j'ai rien entendu parler, enfin j'espère bien, mais j'ai rien entendu parler qu'elle est dans ce sens-là, quoi. Vraiment rien du tout. Ah, on verra, quoi. Franchement, j'en sais pas plus. Bah voilà, en gros c'est la news. Moi je vais faire une petite vidéo là-dessus, j'espère ce soir ou demain, mais à nouveau le timing est serré. Et alors, mine AP, en gros, maintenant, il y a un fil qui sort de la mine AP. Donc, quand tu la poses, il y a 2 fils qui vont à 90 degrés à gauche et à droite et qui vont s'attacher au mur le plus proche. Et c'est le fil qui va trigger la mine AP. Donc, tu peux être à 0 mètre de la mine. Si t'es pas dans le fil, tu la pètes pas. En contrepartie, elle fait plus de dégâts puisqu'elle est plus dure à trigger, forcément. Et forcément, elle est aussi... elle est plus dure à trigger parce que forcément, il n'y a que les fils qui te chopent et pas 360 degrés. Mais en plus de ça, tu la vois de plus loin, c'est beaucoup plus visible puisqu'il y a 2 câbles qui partent vraiment dans les 2 directions. Et du coup, elle est vraiment difficile à trigger. En contrepartie, ils ont augmenté les dégâts, mais même si tu es dessus et que tu t'abaisses pas, prends pas 100 dégâts. Donc elle te one-shot pas si tu es full life. Les indicateurs au-dessus des ennemis, ils ont réduit ça, donc maintenant c'est de moins loin. Ils ont pas dit de combien, mais en gros c'est de moins loin. Donc c'est plus, de mémoire c'était 28 et 15 mètres, et à mon avis ils ont un peu réduit ça. Ils ont aussi augmenté, mais ça sera dans les patch notes et tout, la durée de recharge des caisses de munitions des supply stations, pour éviter le spam des gadgets de manière générale, qu'on ressent beaucoup en grind principalement. Et les indicateurs au-dessus des ennemis, ouais, donc il y avait la réduction de distance, mais il n'y a pas plus d'infos que ça. À mon avis, ils ont juste changé ça. J'ai pas souvenir aussi qu'ils auraient été TK au final, mais... Bah non, là ici, de ce qu'on a vu, franchement, ça a pas l'air foufou le nouveau TTK au niveau des changements. Maintenant, le TTK, c'est vraiment quelque chose qu'il faut ressentir. Voir des images, c'est pour moi aussi, à moins que ce soit vraiment extrême comme changement, ça sera pas... voir les images, c'est pas suffisant. Pour moi, lire des patch notes et voir des images, c'est la même chose parce que tant que tu le ressens pas, tu sais pas dire. C'est genre une Claymore des BF4, ouais, tu peux comparer à ça, sauf que la Claymore, elle est plus en diagonale devant, comme ça, 45 degrés, et là, c'est 2 fils. Mais si t'es entre... Enfin, c'est pas un cône, c'est vraiment une ligne, en gros, quoi. Ok, Wilson, bah du coup, ouais, par déduction, ça pourrait être ça. Ça serait vraiment sympa. Ça serait vraiment, vraiment sympa. Les serveurs privés arrivent d'office avec la 5.2 et la 5.2 est censée arriver durant le mois de décembre. Ils ont envie de les sortir autour de début décembre, mais il n'y a aucune date. Donc l'objectif, ce serait, j'imagine, le plus tôt possible, mais si c'est pas prêt, c'est pas prêt. Moi, je pense qu'on peut s'attendre de manière pas trop risquée à 2e semaine de décembre ou 3e semaine de décembre. Parce que quand ils disent début décembre... Enfin, ils ont dit décembre. Officiellement, ils ont dit décembre. Donc ça pourrait très bien être le 31. Alors voilà, il y a les vacances, machin et tout. Je pense qu'ils vont pas commencer à sortir le patch le 28 ou le 29 décembre, quoi. Je pense qu'ils vont essayer de le faire bientôt. Surtout que ça avait l'air de tourner, quoi. I shaved, I did, yes. I did shave. It's pretty good now. Mais c'est pas tout doux. Bah voilà, si vous avez pas d'autres questions, moi je pense que je vais couper le stream, parce que comme je disais, j'avais pas prévu de stream à la base. Donc je sais pas trop... Enfin voilà, je sais pas trop ce que je ferais de plus. Les gars, merci d'avoir regardé avec moi, c'était chouette ceux qui étaient là, j'espère que vous avez appris plein de trucs. Ceux qui étaient pas là, qui viennent d'arriver, qui sont en retard et tout ça, vous inquiétez pas, je vous couvre. Je vais faire la vidéo, j'espère vraiment pouvoir la faire d'ici ce soir, sans aucune garantie. Sinon ce sera demain, voilà. J'espère que le stream vous a plu, j'espère que les news vous ont plu. N'hésitez pas à vous abonner si c'est pas fait, à liker si c'est pas fait, à follow si c'est pas fait, à envoyer des bisous si c'est pas fait, à partager si c'est pas fait. Tout ce que vous avez pas fait, faites-le. Moi je vous dis à bientôt, je vous souhaite une merveilleuse après-midi. Ciao ciao.